The Saints struggle with the Bears at home. They win 24-17, and this was a painful game to watch if you were a Saints fan. It's been a painful season for Saints fans overall, but games like this, to where I'm picking the week 9 games with Justin Marville on episode 50, and he's like, I'm taking the Saints next game. It's stuff like that to where it's tough for the Saints to really lean in, to really believe that this team can go to bigger heights, even though they are first in the NFC South, thankfully, and they are sitting at a 5-4 record. Steve said, bro, I told you I'd take Carr over Allen. Now you know why. I'm still not saying that, man, because if Josh Allen is with the New Orleans Saints, they're in a way better position than with Derek Carr right now, even with possibly Dennis Allen. And some would push back on that because it's like, damn, Dennis Allen coaching Josh Allen and the way that Josh Allen turns the football over already with Sean McDermott. Yes, I can understand that reservation there, but let's get into it. Saints struggle with the Bears at home. They win 24-17. We'll start off with the good, and then we'll get into the bad. The Saints are now 18-1 when Taysom Hill runs the ball 7 or more times in a football game. That stat continues to stay prevalent in this season. There's a 19-game sample size of the New Orleans Saints having Taysom Hill run the football 7 or more times, and they have won 18 of those 19 football games. So if Pete Carmichael doesn't know anything, know that Taysom Hill needs to be included in this game plan, especially to run the football as much as possible. Thankfully, Chris Olave scores. You love to see that. I did think Derek Carr held onto that football a little too long, but Alvin Kamara came in really nice with the pass blocking up front. They really made a pocket for Derek Carr, and he was able to deliver. Carl Granderson continues to ball out, continues to earn that bag that we paid him earlier in the year. He's already hit his career highs in sacks and pressures, and we've still got seven games to go with him. Hold on. Am I thinking correctly? Yeah, we still got 7 games to go. I forgot that the Saints do have a bye week coming up, so that kind of confused me. But man, if this wasn't the Paulson Adebo game, this guy was the reason that the Saints were able to stay in this football game. And if Paulson Adebo doesn't have the game that he does, the Saints are losing to one of the worst teams in the NFL, and maybe that would have been enough to get Dennis Allen out of there. It's already been enough for me to get Dennis Allen out of there, but this game is just another sample size as to why it's ugly. And I've got a Michael Thomas stat that I dug up myself that's going to come up in the bad part of this review of the game. And it'll just be a testament to what the Saints have freaking been this season. The Paulson Adebo game, 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, and he recovered it as well. 3 pass breakups, a major pass breakup on DJ Moore in the right corner of the end zone that Tyson Bagent almost put on him. 7 tackles in this game. This is the 5th turnover by Paulson Adebo in the last 3 games. He damn sure better be NFC Defensive Player of the Week because we saw what he was able to do, and I was very impressed by Paulson Adebo. I'm loving the young secondary players, man. The Alontae Taylors, the Isaac Yiadams, if he is going to get more consistent in the secondary, and we know that he has some nice pass breakups. We know he has a nice low completion percentage allowed. We did see him get diced up in that Packers game, if I'm not mistaken, but he's coming to his own. We also see him with the special teams play as well. Alontae Taylor, like I've mentioned. Of course, I do miss the CJ Gardner-Johnsons and the Marcus Williams, but Marshawn Lattimore is still there, and I think he'll be able to mentor this young secondary. Taysom Hill has a touchdown pass in this game, also has 10 rushing touchdowns, 10 passing touchdowns, 10 receiving touchdowns in his career. He is only the second player ever in NFL history to do that. No fourth quarter plays were in Saints territory from either team. The fourth quarter was dominated by the Saints defense and by the Saints offense because there was not a single snap in Saints territory. If the Saints got the ball, they were already threatening in plus territory. Or if the Bears got the ball, they did not cross over into the Saints territory to even think about scoring. After the Saints gave up 14, they only gave up 3 points in the second half to the Chicago Bears, so definitely a testament to the defense there. The Saints O-line has given up 2 sacks in the last 3 games, including no sacks in this game. This is the first time all season that the Saints have not allowed a sack. We lead the NFL with 12 interceptions. We had 7 interceptions all of last year. We are 3rd in the turnover margin now at +8. Only 8 giveaways all year. Half of those are on Derek Carr's arm. And I'll just come out real quick and say that Derek Carr has not had a game this year with 2 interceptions, and he's only had 4 games where he's actually thrown an interception this year. It's just very untimely when he does. I was sitting up in the stands on Thursday Night Football when he threw the pick 6 to the Jaguars. I was sitting over at Taco Mac in week 1 over here in Peachtree City, Georgia, when he threw the interception in the Titans game. It's only been 2 other games outside of that that Derek Carr has thrown a pick. They're just very untimely, and we as fans aren't necessarily bought all the way in on Derek Carr. So when those things do happen, we're going to let you know as the Houdat Nation. But now let's get into some of the bad parts about this game. And I don't like to be negative about my team, but I know I'm very passionate. I love the New Orleans Saints. So I'm just going to be honest. The Saints are still the same team after this football game. Playing down to the competition, wasn't impressed with the Patriots when you did what you were supposed to do. A little impressed with the Colts win. And now you're scraping it up against Tyson Bagent, who had an irritated knee in this game, dices you up with scrambling yards. Tyson Bagent made us look miserable with his mobility at certain points in this game. And the Saints just continue to struggle with not only rookie quarterbacks, but mobile quarterbacks as that. And if it's a rookie mobile quarterback, I mean, Lord, we saw what Jalen Hurts did to us a couple seasons ago against the Eagles. He's done it to us time and time again. He loves dicing the Saints up because he knows that the Saints are susceptible to it. And I want to know, where the hell was the QB spy? Where is that linebacker or that secondary or defensive player that's watching the quarterback? As soon as he breaks contain, you got to go. You got to go get him. Because Tyson Bagent had 10 carries for 60 yards in the first half. Now, thankfully, we do limit him a ton in the second half, not even a fraction of what he had in the first half. The Saints were +5 in the turnover margin and only scored 10 points off turnovers. You take the ball away, you steal 5 possessions from the team, and you basically account for a safety. Yes, I'm being a jackass here. Every time you get the football. Against the Chicago Bears, that kind of stuff can't happen. And that's why I say that this Saints team is still the same team, because we have Dennis Allen still being Dennis Allen, accepting a damn holding call to make it 3rd and 12 instead of a 4th and 2. Would you know that drive ended in a touchdown? Dennis Allen continues to be Dennis Allen, the lieutenant, and make these boneheaded decisions. I mean, what the hell is this Derek Carr QB sneak on 4th down instead of going for the field goal to make it a 2-score game, or for Christ's sake, putting the ball in Taysom Hill's hands? No, we're going to get little Derek Carr to just stuff it up the middle. I mean, are you serious? And from that point, us as fans have to be even more on the edge of our seat because our head coach doesn't want to be confident. We Let me just keep it here. We got to let Blake Grupe go. We have to let him go. Blake Grupe, 78% on the year. Will Lutz is 10% higher. The guy that we cut to move on to this rookie, almost 10% higher than Blake Grupe on field goal kicks. We can't count on Blake Grupe to hit a big kick. Isn't that why we got rid of Will Lutz? Because he was hurt and he couldn't hit big kicks? Because you need to have your kicker hit these types of plays for you in the game when you need it. And you're not only doinking it, but when you finally decide to kick it after the fourth quarter, after the Derek Carr fourth down QB sneak, then you decide to miss it. I don't get it. I think I misspoke there about Grupe kicking the ball after the QB sneak, but I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And would you know that Dennis Allen says, it's not the plan to bring in kickers. No, not right now. I mean, what? Why? Blake Grupe is not it. I get it. A rookie. He tried out. We brought him in, but he's not the guy. He's basically missing 1 out of every 4 kicks, 1 out of every 5 kicks at this point. It's hard to win in this league. You're barely a team that scrapes up your offense when you need to in big games. You got to have your kicker hit the kicks. It's that simple. Go try kickers out. Go try out 5 of them. Have multiple kickers for different situations. If you don't want to cut Grupe because maybe you're attached, I don't know. But we got to let Blake Grupe go. Where was Rashid Shaheed in this game? I mean, are we just going to not act like he had 3 for 153 in a tub in the last game? Yeah, the Bears probably caught on to the fact that he was dicing them up. And yes, the Saints were throwing on 5 or 6 different corners that were covering Shaheed in that game. The Colts tried out a lot of different corners in that game once Rashid busted the guy, I think, for the second big deep ball in that game. But where was Rashid Shaheed? I mean, are we just going to use him on deep throws? Do we not have any sort of creativity for him? Michael Thomas had no catches, no yards, and one target. And he was double teamed in the red zone a lot. But y'all, I dug this stat up today, and this here encapsulates Pete Carmichael as a play caller and not necessarily the entire New Orleans Saints season, but what the offense is. Only one time has Michael Thomas had no catches in any game that he started in his NFL career, any game that he's played in his NFL career, has he had no catches. It was the Tampa Bay playoff loss, Drew Brees' final game in the Dome, the year that Tampa won the Super Bowl, and Drew Brees threw three interceptions. Michael Thomas had 4 targets in that game, but no catches. The Saints lose 30-20. That is the one and only time Michael Thomas has had 0 catches in an NFL game in his career. The second time was on Sunday against the Chicago Bears. Michael Thomas has also never had a game with 1 target ever in his NFL career. Sunday was the first time that happened. Just let that one sink in, Michael Thomas and Saints fans. Pete Carmichael made history with Michael Thomas's production in a negative way. He had never had a game with 1 target only. It happened on Sunday. He had 1 game in his whole career, not even in the regular season, against a smash-mouth Tampa Bay defense that was forcing turnovers at a clip in that postseason en route to the Super Bowl in the COVID season. 4 turnovers that they forced in that game. A Jared Cook fumbled, 3 interception. I might be forgetting 1. That was the one and only time, even with all the injury-riddled years of Michael Thomas, playing 3 games, 10 games in 3 years, his rookie year, never had no catches outside of that Tampa Bay playoff loss. And he never had a game with 1 target. So congratulations, Pete Carmichael. We won the football game, but I checked Michael Thomas's game logs. He's only been in the league for a few years. Yes, we know that he's 30 years old. He's coming up on it. But that was embarrassing to figure out. To actually know that happened is unacceptable. Alvin Kamara only played 49% of the snaps on Sunday, the 11th lowest total in his career, barring games with injury, of course. The Saints won by 7 against the Bears. In the previous 10 games where Alvin Kamara played less than 49% of the snaps, New Orleans won by an average of 25 points. In the last 10 games where Alvin Kamara played less than 49% of the snaps, New Orleans won by an average of almost 4 touchdowns, 25 points. So, like I said, the Saints do beat the Bears 24-17. They struggle. They pull it out with 5 turnovers. They get the W. They're first in the NFC South. They're now sitting at 5-4. The Falcons lost. The Bucs lost, thankfully. The Panthers lost. So it was just a way for the Saints to get up in the division standings. I don't necessarily like where we're at right now, but we could be in a worse spot. I will say that. I think we're going to be viable for a playoff spot. I'll be at the Saints-Falcons game in a couple weeks in Atlanta. The Saints are going to turn right around and play the Falcons in the final game of the season in New Orleans. The NFL knew exactly what they were doing with that game there. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out, no doubt about it. Sorry, Steve. I'm just now seeing all your comments. Take the Saints over Minnesota. Yeah, I will too. Justin Jefferson is doubtful in that game. Hill is a heck of a player. No question about it. Second NFL player ever with 10 rushing, 10 passing, and 10 receiving touchdowns in his career. Real question is, are the Saints winning the Super Bowl? Duh. You already know the Saints are winning the Super Bowl. Don't come after me with that. Tyson is a heck of a runner. Maybe give the rookie a little more time. Kamara's been really great. The Saints schedule is looking really good. I want to check up on our schedule, actually, because I know we got the Vikings. Jettas is doubtful there. We're going to have the bye week. We got the Falcons. I'm nervous about the Lions game, but then we got the Panthers. We got the Giants, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Falcons again. So really after the Vikings game, like we're going to get Josh Dobbs, Taylor Heineke, Jared Goff, Bryce Young, Tommy DeVito, or whoever the Giants decide to sign. We're going to talk about Daniel Jones tearing his ACL and who they should possibly sign. Matt Stafford, if he's healthy, Baker Mayfield, Taylor Heineke again. So the Saints don't face a reputable quarterback outside of Jared Goff for the rest of the year in the final 8 games. The back half of the schedule's here. Saints got to tighten up. I still have them as a 12-win football team in this season. We'll just have to see how it plays out. That means that they can only lose one more potential game in order to get to that predicted record. Steve, Ryan, everybody that's live with me here on the show, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all for jumping in.